everybody, The Two for Life here, bringing you guys a brand new deck profile. This is a deck that I showcased about a week or two ago, I can't remember. This is Destiny End Dragoon Turbo. So I got the idea to make this deck for two reasons. First and foremost, I figured, hey, I did it with Rainbow Neos, so I wanted to try it with another big boss fusion monster, that being End Dragoon. So I tried it, it works really well. The other big reason is because I'm a huge fan of Destiny Heroes. People who have been watching my channel for a while now know that. And I really wanted to build a, try and make a semi-competitive Destiny Hero deck. This deck actually does quite well against most of the meta decks. It has a kind of tough time against Monarchs still because you're locked out of your extra deck. Or we still main Monarchs. I haven't played against extra deck Monarchs yet. But anyway, so the deck is a lot of fun. I highly recommend to try it out, and I'm sorry that there's such a big gap in time from the dual compilation that I uploaded, which I will have a link to in the description and in the comments down below so that people who may want to play this deck can check it out. The reason why it took so long is because I had trouble getting 2 cards for the extra deck. I had the entire main deck, but 2 cards in particular were annoyingly hard to get. Anyway, so enough babbling, let's get on to the actual deck profile. First and foremost, 3 Destiny Hero Dogma. If you guys don't know who Dogma is, he's a 3400 beat stick. He's one of the fusion materials for End Dragoon. If he's summoned, which he needs 3 tributes for, it's a special summon. One of the tributes must be a Destiny Hero, which kind of sucks. But whenever he's summoned, they're in the standby phase. Afterwards, he halves your opponent's life points. He just flat out halves it. It is crazy. In the anime, he actually kept halving every standby phase. But in real life, they kind of nerfed it a bit, which kind of sucks. I only have 1 ultimate rare because they are incredibly hard to find, and it drives me nuts because I want to have matching rarities. But anyways, that's just a personal thing. Next up, I play 3 Destiny Hero Plasma. He's the other fusion material for End Dragoon. He is arguably better than Dogma. Honestly, they both have their merits, but basically Plasma, he has the same summoning requirements as Dogma, but however, he does not require a Destiny Hero monster, so he just needs flat out 3 monsters to tribute and special summon him. He is a one-sided skill drain for your opponent, and he's a relinquished. Well, kind of. Whenever he takes in a monster, he only gains half of that monster's attack points, but to make up for that, he's already got a decent 1900, but at 1900, is terrible when your opponent MSTs the equip card and runs it over with a 2k normal monster. Anyways, yeah, Plasma and Dogma are both really good monsters, but we need to play 3 so that we can make as many End Dragoons as possible. And there's a big reason why I wanted to make this deck for End Dragoon, because he's such a good fusion monster. Next up for the rest of the stuff, I play 3 Destiny Hero Diamond Dude. Everybody knows what Diamond Dude does. Before we get the new Destiny Hero stuff, this guy's the strongest non-tribute Destiny Hero. Believe it or not, 1400 attack is the highest Destiny Heroes went with non-tribute monsters before the new stuff coming out. I don't know when we're getting it. It's coming out in September for Japan, so we're probably not going to get it till next year for us, which really sucks, but oh well. Next up, I play 3 Elemental Hero Blazeman. I'm kind of sort of borrowing this along with the amount of shadowmist from Rainbow Neos Turbo. This card searches out Poly whenever it's summoned, and you can send a shadowmist from your deck to the graveyard to search out any hero monster. Now you can only use 1 effect each turn, and if you use the Foolish Burial effect, you can only summon monsters via fusion summon for the rest of the turn, which really sucks. But however, he's a really good monster. He just searches out your stuff, and he's searchable via E-Call and Shadow Mist. Speaking of Shadow Mist, we play 3 of her. She's a really good monster. She's basically Stratos. Anytime she hits the graveyard, you search out a hero monster. She can search out Destiny Heroes, which is really nice. One of the other things, you don't really get to use her effect to search out a Mask Chains. I do play Mask Chains in here. The only real time that actually happens is if you draw into her about Dashers and Graveyard. And yes, I do play 1 Dasher. So, next up, 3 Malicious. Arguably the most prevalent Destiny hero in like the meta. I mean, one could say, well, one could make an argument for good old Disc Commander, but he was what, legal for 1 format? Malicious is still around, and he will pretty much always be around. And there's my 1 Dasher. Pretty ultimate, not first ed though, which I don't really care about, but really there are only 2 decks I care about rarity for, and that's Gladiator Beasts and Destiny Heroes. So, onto the spells. I play 3 Polymerization, kind of sort of mandatory for a fusion deck. Destiny Heroes don't have their own decent fusion spell yet, and notice how I said spell, the trap card does not count. Next up, 3 Mask Chains, because Darklaw and Anki are awesome. Speaking of, I finally got an Anki. Next up, 3D Draw. It's a Destiny Hero deck. You play 3D Draw, or as many as you can play. Also, I don't know if you guys can tell in the thing, but I got a playset of German Ultras, which are pretty. 2 of them are first ed, 1 is not, which bugs me. Next up is 3 E-Call. Searches out Blazeman, searches out Shadowmist, whichever one I need. Sadly, it does not search out anything else, but however, I'm going for as much consistency as possible so that I can make End Dragoon as fast as possible. That is the whole point and key of this deck, and it does it quite well. Next up, 2 Allure Darkness. Like 90% of this deck is dark, and it just adds more consistency. 2 Fusion Conscription. If you guys don't know what this does, you activate it, you reveal a fusion monster, like, I don't know, End Dragoon. You add one of its fusion materials from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and that monster cannot be summoned or use its effects for the rest of the turn. So it's just basically searches out the fusion material. Generally speaking, I'll grab the one that I don't have, or I'll grab the one that I'm thinking about summoning next turn, because there are times where you do need summon Plasma or Dogma, depending on what deck you're doing against. Next up, 2 Fusion Recovery, really good spell card. Just, you know, grab back your Poly and one of your fusion materials, and then go off from there. 2 MST. I've bounced back and forth between Twin Twister and MST. Right now, I'm kind of going with MST. I mean, Twin Twister, yeah, I got 3 targets that I really want engraved, that being Dasher, Malicious, and shadowmist. But however, I got other ways to get them engraved, and really, honestly, back row is not much of a problem for this deck. I'm going to be honest. Like, the only thing that is stuff like Cosmojo and Compulse, and Cosmojo's limited to 1 deck, and Compulse nobody plays. So, yeah. Next up, I play 2 Scapegoat. This is the only defensive card that I play, and I also play it mostly just simply so I can summon Plasma and Dogma on the off chance that I need to. I do side a 3rd just in case, but however, I main deck 2 because there are times where you do need summon Plasma and Dogma, and this deck has a hard time of flooding the board, so Scapegoat is there to make up for that. You really only need to summon Plasma and Dogma against certain decks. Dogma and Plasma are both really good against Cosmo, especially if you get both of them out. Dogma being able to beat over almost every Cosmo monster except Dark Planet, which nobody plays, and if they do, it's a one of. And Plasma just says screw all Cosmos, they lose their effects. And so really doing against Cosmos, Plasma is your go-to guy. They can't do much about it except Cosmojo at Dark Hole or Raigeki, and nobody plays Dark Hole anymore. Some people play Raigeki, and also some people play Cosmojo. Some people don't though. It's really down to player preference. And then 1 Fool's Burial. That's it for the deck. Fool's Burial is obviously here for these 3. Generally speaking, I try to send her so I can search. But yeah, that's it for the deck. I don't play any traps, I don't need any. This is all about consistency and making the fusion monster as fast and easy as possible. Now then, before we get to the fusions, we're going to go over the XCs, because there are a few XCs that I do play. You don't really go into them very often, but when you do, it's usually because, oh, you just can. Or because it's going to win you the game. First and foremost, number 6 Chronomaly Atlandis. I don't have a better rank 6. I mean, I used to play Frozen Lady Justice just because I like her so much. But I swapped her out for the Chronomaly Atlandis. He becomes a 4600 beat stick if you equip this dude onto him. If you guys don't know what he does, when you XC summon him, you can target a number monster in your graveyard, equip it onto him as an equip card. He gains attack points equal to half of that monster's attack points, and you can send one of the monsters attached to him as an, I believe it's detach XC's material. Send the equipped monster to it from the graveyard to half your opponent's life points, and you cannot conduct your battle phase that turn. I like this guy for 2 reasons. First and foremost, he becomes a 4600 beater if you equip again, this guy onto him. Doesn't really happen very often, but however, the big thing is that he can half your opponent's life points. This deck does a lot of burn damage, so it is just crazy with how much damage you can do, and this can really put your opponent into the possible kill zone with good old End Dragoon. I forgot his name for a second there. Next up, I play number 35. For some reason, I could not read that upside down. Ravenous Tarantula. He's a rank 10. End Dragoon's a rank 10. Generally speaking, you make rank 10s, and this guy you just plop 7 sins right on top of. 2 GUSTAV Rail Cannon, sorry, Superdreadnought Rail Cannon GUSTAV MAX. You have to say the full name whenever you say this thing because it's so awesome. It's a 3k by 3k. You detach an XC's material, do 2,000 damage to your opponent. Generally speaking, I'll try and burn my opponent by popping 2 things with End Dragoon and then overlay into this guy and try and finish off my opponent if possible, or just simply get them as low as on life points as possible. A lot of decks have a tough time getting over this guy because he's 3k attack, 3k defense, and heck, if they can't kill it, you're going to be doing 4k to their face, and just 2 of these guys can kill your opponent, and you don't really honestly need to because End Dragoon can just burn them to death. And then for the heck of it, oh dear god, Superdimensional Robot Galaxy Destroyer. So, if you guys don't know, this guy is a 5k attacker, 2,000 defense. He needs 3 level 10 monsters to go into. There are times where you do make all 3 End Dragoons. Like, I have sat on all 3 End Dragoons while in defense position and just popping everything my opponent has like crazy. And this thing, you detach XC's material, destroy all of your opponent's back row. They can't activate anything in response to it. And it is so cool. It's a 5k beat stick and it's hilarious. And it's basically a giant Gundam transformer thing. Now onto the actual fusions. I play 1 Nova Master because I do have Blazeman and he just needs shadowmist and Blazeman and got bang, you know. Generally speaking, I don't really go into him very often, but A, I like to be able to draw and he's not bad. Now, these next 2 cards are the cards that caused this deck profile to be kind of postponed for a little bit. That's Vision Hero, Adoration, and Trinity, because I could not for the last minute get these 2, and then a friend of mine somehow magically had them. So, if you guys don't know what these do, since Vision Heroes have not been printed yet, which Konami really needs to get onto, these guys are generic. They just have any hero monster. Trinity needs 3 hero monsters, Adoration needs 2, so they are a bit hard. Well, at least Trinity's kind of hard to summon, Adoration's not hard at all to summon. Trinity, whenever he's summoned, he doubles his attack points, so he becomes a 5k beat stick until the end of the turn. He can attack 3 times, but he cannot attack your opponent directly. This guy has won me so many games that it's not even funny. And now, Adoration. He's a 28 beat stick, and once per turn you can target 1 monster your opponent controls and 1 hero monster you control that's not himself, and your opponent's monster loses attack points equal to your hero monster. So he needs 2 hero monsters and he can just lower any monster's attack points equal to another hero monster you control, which is really, really good. These 2 are both really good fusions, and there are times where you cannot make End Dragoon, but you have a Poly and a couple heroes in hand, and since we don't have Dystopia guy yet or Deadly guy yet, we gotta kind of deal with these 2. And they're both really good fusions, I gotta say. Like, it really kind of sucks that nobody likes these. Generally speaking, Adoration is the better one because he has a consistent attack power, which is a high 28. But Trinity is a 5k beat stick on his summon. He can attack 3 times. And generally speaking, if your opponent doesn't have anything to stop his summon or his attacks, it's game. He's won me a lot of games against Cosmos because they keep floating and stuff. I play 1 Master Hero Anki, just in case. I play 3 Mask Chains, so yeah. And then I play 2 Darklaw because Darklaw is still really, really stupid. I honestly thought about dropping the Anki for another Darklaw, but I don't have another Darklaw. And then finally, the star of the show, 3 Destiny End Dragoons, and yes, these are all first ed ultimate rare, mint condition, I believe not, but they're like $5 or $8 on Amazon. I got all 3 of these for like 25 bucks. This guy is so good, so awesome. He's 3k by 3k, level 10 fusion monster, needs Dogma and Plasma to go into. Its effect is, once per turn you can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and then do damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack on the field. So if it's a buffed attack point, so like let's say, I don't know, you're going against Blue Eyes, you attacked into their Blue Eyes, they dropped Honest on it, Blue Eyes becomes 6k, okay, main phase 2, you make another, oh wait, no, yeah, that's right. End Dragoon cannot, the turn you blow something up, you cannot conduct your battle phase, I forgot about that, so just ignore everything I just said. So, generally speaking, if your opponent's monster has a boosted attack power, it'll do that damage because it's equal to the attack on the field. You can't conduct your battle phase that turn, but it's generally speaking a kind of, it comes down to what the board is. Like if my opponent has a lot of back row, I won't generally attack, I'll just keep popping stuff. But if they don't have a lot of back row and I can do more damage just attacking, I will just attack. But like let's say they have something that has like 2800 attack power, I'm just gonna pop it because this guy will just do 200 damage attacking over it. Now, making an Xyz with him is not a big deal because if he's in your graveyard during your standby phase, you can banish a Destiny hero and special summon him. And you can do that as many times a turn. So if you have all 3 in grave for whatever reason, like let's say your opponent Regekki'd you and tried to OTK you, but you flipped Scapegoat so you didn't die, which has happened, you can bring them all back next turn and then go into a Superdreadnought or something, or just pop everything your opponent has, because it's neither of his effects are hard once per turn clause, so it's really good. So guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Have a great day. Thank you all for watching. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. I will leave the deck list down in the description. Peace out, goodbye, and goodbye. Well.